Hey, I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it and give this video a like.
Podcast. We have an emergency one on the trade below in the description.
Okay, so I think one thing we can talk about now, too, is Deshaun Watson, given his situation is so up in the air right now with the Texans. The Niners just traded 3 ones for a player that we don't know who it is yet. I think if you're going to trade 3 ones for the third pick, you absolutely would have been willing to trade 4 ones for Deshaun Watson, right? I mean, I think this tells us now definitively, even though it's what we thought, we believe they were willing to trade for Deshaun. This tells us definitively they would have been willing to do it, I believe.
If you would have traded pick 12, 22, 23 in the third round pick for Deshaun Watson, that would have been viewed as a lot because he does make $150 million. You know, starting next year, assuming that he doesn't sit out the year, it was going to be $35 million for like 3 or 4 straight years. So yeah. I would have just said if Deshaun Watson had never had all these allegations and was just on the trading block and the trade would have been 12, 22, 23 and the solo third, would have been like, God damn, that's a lot. I mean, it would have been like, that's worth it, but their cap would have been much more complicated next year. The cap numbers are huge. Part of this deal, I think why you feel so much more comfortable doing this for a rookie. Now, you pray to God that if I just said Justin Fields or Trey Lance turns 90% of Deshaun Watson, they would do cartwheels, right? That's what they're looking for. But it's the how much he costs. Like, the part of what makes Deshaun a little complicated is his cap number the next couple of years are massive for a team that just paid a lot of money and has some guys that Fred Warner and is going to get huge money you'd expect this offseason. It would have become financially just a little more complicated, right?
It would have.
Given that you don't have any of these ones and, they're cheap labor.
Yeah. But maybe this is just coincidence. Maybe they were never going to do any trade until they got to the pro days because if Deshaun was going to cost more than trading up to 3 and they didn't love any of the quarterbacks, then you're more likely to do that deal, right? Maybe it's a coincidence, but it doesn't – to me, the fact that Deshaun has become unacquirable right now is not nothing in the context of the timeline of the Niners deciding to do this. Like, if the Niners loved Justin Fields and thought they could get him at 3, would they have done this instead of Deshaun? Maybe they would have. We don't know. But I don't think it's necessarily – I don't think
what's the reaction if the Deshaun off the field stuff never happens? He's traded today for this package.
I think it's
12,
absolutely
22, 23 and the third pick.
I think, it's different when you trade for a pick because the possibilities, the hope, it's like you never know what are we going to get. But Deshaun is viewed as so good that, yes, the money is there, but you think, I know this player. I know what his floor is fantastic. His floor is franchise quarterback. So
you think there would have been a narrative out there, people saying, like, I don't know if the Texans got enough.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because 3 picks and no players is you might whiff on all 3 of those picks. You might end up with tangibly nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just look at recently, right?
And John, could I add one more thing to that? And you'd go I know your pick next year is not going to be like. There's the chance the Dolphins get the 15th pick, the 10th pick, the 8th pick from the Niners next year if that doesn't work.
For 100%. I think the going rate on an elite difference maker, right? Jalen Ramsey, Jamal Adams, 2 1s and a 2. And you go Justin Fields or Trey Lance just went for 3 1s and a 3, right? That's what it costs to acquire them. So it kind of shows you, it puts everything that quarterbacks, 3 1s and a 3 for something you don't even know that has a 50% bust rate. That's just the right. At least when you get Jalen Ramsey, you go, yeah, he might be a headache or whatever. We got to pay him, but he's an elite player. Same with Deshaun. Same with Jamal Adams. Same with when Khalil Mack was acquired. Same with a lot of times, like when I give up a first for Stephon Diggs, like I'm getting a guy that had 19 touchdowns the last 2 years or whatever. It just shows you when you do trade for the quarterback, the unknown, the hope is part of it, but there's also like a nervous unknown of just like there's getting back to it, the pressure. Like Deshaun Watson, he's off the table right now for every team. Like he's not acquirable. But now, even if all this stuff goes away and it turns out it was just a hit campaign, he'll never be a Niner. Like the Niners are just all in. They don't have picks to acquire him. Like Trey Lance or Justin Fields just is their quarterback. I do think we have some finality that like Kyle Shanahan is going all in on one of these rookie quarterbacks to be his quarterback, hopefully, of his career, right? Like ideally, this guy is his quarterback for the next 15 years.
Yep.
Kind of like, and it changes your career. Like Sean McDermott, when the dust settles, he's going to be interconnected with Josh Allen. And if he keeps having years like this, he's going to go down as a great coach, right?
Sean
They just keep
McDermott,
winning divisions.
Now, Hall of Fame is something, but if I told you when it's all said and done, Sean McDermott.
They were just in the AFC Championship game. Why?
Well, for sure, but what I'm going to say is, no, it's not crazy. But I think I would comfortably say odds are really good that he's just a Bills Hall of Famer, right? That Sean McDermott, whether they win a Super Bowl or not, is just going to go down as he's going to have a great run here.
Yeah.
You know, I also think
it's like the pressure when you acquire this many picks. That's back to the Watson thing. You would have known right away we got a great player. So it's like, yeah, we got to figure out the money and stuff, but you're just like, I got a great player. Here it's like you're saving the money, which I'm glad. I mean, it's the way to build the team. It's tried and true formula. Josh Allen's doing it now. I think Herbert, they plan on doing it. Obviously, they did it with Mahomes. It's just now, like, this guy's got to be good. Like, this guy has to be Watson, Josh Allen, Lamar, whatever. Like, he's got to be – the pressure on him to pop immediately is going to be – it's going to be nuts, which is cool. Like, we're in the content business. We like talking about it. I like interesting. But you're going to feel it. Like, if they're at OTAs and we go out to, like, a spring practice, like, everyone's there to see one person.
Yeah.
Not Ayuk, not Debo. No one even really Kittle. Like, you kind of get to fly under the radar. The magnifying glass on that kid, it would have been the same with Deshaun.
Ebicom.
Like, if they would have acquired Deshaun, we would have gone to practice. But it'd be like, yeah, this guy's fucking sweet, right?
Right. The question would be, how's he going to look with Kyle? Not how's he going to look. Is he going to look capable?
Yeah, I mean, the first practice, like, he skipped 3 balls, right? I mean, just Grant Cohn's going to be tweeting his
tweet. He'll be going live from the parking lot. I think and I'd watch it. I think from a Deshaun standpoint, like when I say, why do you do this now? You got breaking news?
Just a text from a GM that he's fired up. He was part of some trades today.
He's always part of some trades.
He's wheeling and dealing. Eagles might have 3 first-round picks next year.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
The plays enough.
The Niners and Rams guy, no first-rounders. Forever.
All right, let me ask you this as it relates to Deshaun. Why do you do this deal a month before the draft if you're the Niners? There's 2 reasons, right? One is the Deshaun dream died. 2 is you're afraid somebody else is going to do the deal. I don't know if somebody else was about to do this deal, but I do think that Deshaun dream died, as we've talked about, for the time being. And now keep in mind what the Dolphins have done as well here. The Dolphins got 12, then they moved back up to 6.
Yeah.
Things can change. There's a long way to go and whatever's going to transpire here with Deshaun. But it feels to me like the Dolphins have moved on from that as well. Right? That now it's like, okay, if you're doing that deal, you're not considering drafting any of these guys.
Well, when you hear they're at pick 6, don't you think Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase,
Yeah, I think they're
Devontae
moving
Smith?
back up to do exactly what you said, to help Tua. So again,
as they should.
Just
the
landscape.
They did just draft Tua 5 or 4. Yeah, 5. I guess Herbert went 6. Yeah, 5.
Well, but and you mentioned this earlier, like it's a double whammy for them. They trade out of the spot. They had the Herbert shadow. Now they've got whoever gets drafted ahead of 6 shadow. So, there's a lot of heat on Tua. But as Mel Kiper, you remember he was on the podcast.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even think what I'm about to say is something. Yeah, it was Mel who said, like, look, Tua, I don't even think he should have played last year. He was an injured player. Let's give him a year. And the beauty for the Dolphins is they're going to be able to surround him with so much talent. If they hit on these picks. Like, imagine if the Dolphins go on this, like, a Bucks run of nailing all these draft picks.
Why couldn't they take, like, Kyle Pitts, also draft Najee Harris? I mean, they could load up their offense right for them, as they should.
Yeah.
Or Travis Etienne or whoever. Like, they could really just nail some guys because they got multiple first-round picks. People forget they still have another first. They have their own, right? And they had the following
3 last year.
They had multiple. They what?
They had 3 last year in the first round?
They had 3 last year, but they used it on, a pass rusher, a tackle, and Tua.
Yeah.
Now that there's like, to me, there's like, is it Austin Jackson? Is that the guy's name from USC?
Yes.
Like, can he take a big step? Because if all of a sudden you hit on him and then you get Kyle Pitts and Najee Harris and you got like, well, we got a tackle, we got 2 skill guys, we got Tua, all of a sudden the narrative can go from like, God, we really got something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just, the Deshaun, I don't even know what happens now. It has not been a good couple weeks for him. That would be an understatement of the day.
Yeah, as we've talked about, like he's fighting for something much bigger than which team he ends up on. But if that thing ends with him available to play somehow, the Texans have more leverage from a football standpoint. But that's a whole other that's a conversation for another day, another month. Hell, it might be another year. I don't know.
Yeah.